Hello, everyone. You know, fellow viewers. For now we don't have any viewer, but that is okay. We keep to time. We just have to do what we have to do. So, for those of you who will be listening to this stream after, well, I hope you had a good holiday, Christmas holiday. I hope you had a good time, spent good time with your family. Those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you do actually had a good time with your families. You at least enjoyed the Christmas holiday. As for me, I was really busy. I've got a really, really massive family. We had so much like nieces and nephews, brothers in laws and sisters in laws running all over the place. But yeah, it was a hectic one. And that was nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. And today we'll be having a really, really good conversation. About some infamous myth. We'll be like dissecting and understanding what is actually going on in Africa and mainstream medias and things like that. Talking about is Africa actually moving forward, or we're just stagnant, or if we're actually dying as a group of people. You know, because from what the mainstream media says, they tell you, oh, in this year, Africa is going to be this number of people, and Africa needs to cut down its population. If not because of things like this, it's going to happen. But actually, we're going to get into some little bit of analysis and see if this actually makes sense. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are going to stay to the end of the stream, there will be a surprise. And there'll be a surprise, and that's gonna blow your mind, and you're gonna learn something today from uh, from what I do. Actually, you're gonna see a little bit of what I do actually in my daily life, and I hope you learn something. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna start out with a shout out. I have my little presentation that I created, and so I'm gonna start out with a shout out. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is really, really interesting for me. It makes me feel that people really actually enjoy what I'm doing, and we have a really small channel, and in no time we have over 300 view hours, and this is massive support. I'm really, really uh, happy for all the supporters, people viewing my channel. We have this little notification from YouTube says people really, really like your videos that you're creating, and that makes us really believe we are doing something good, and we're gonna keep up. Yeah, Pan African Alliance is a political movement that we intend to bring Africans, young Africans, into politics, because we actually do believe good politicians is the best way to free Africa from all these calamities that's going on in Africa. And we actually believe we have to work as a conglomerate. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into the discussion of today. So we're going to talk about African population. You know, if you look, if you do like a normal search, on Google or whatever, there's this information, there's information all over the place that the whole of Africa get into this, I don't know, into this population growth or population boost that the world is not going to be able to contain. But actually, looking at things, actually how things really are, it's not really, really the case. Yeah, so we're gonna make a little bit of comparison, and that we're gonna watch some videos and we're gonna analyze for ourselves. As I said, but at the end of the day, we're going to make analysis and we're going to judge for ourselves, and I'm going to prove to you that we Africans, we are the minority, and actually we are a dying population. So we should not keep playing into this nonsense that we African is growing. We are actually dying population, and we are actually the minority. That is the fact. I'm going to prove that to you today. So we're going to take it one step at a time, and I have this little slide I've tried to prepare so that we can use it to put a claim. Okay. So let's look at this little slide here. Okay. So this is the whole of West Africa, almost the whole of West Africa, excluding Nigeria. Okay. So the whole of West Africa, excluding Nigeria, we have almost 11 countries. Okay. All these places here, that's the whole of West Africa. They have 11 countries. But you see, the whole of this massive area, we just have 250 people as of 220. That's excluding Nigeria. The whole of West Africa has got a population of 259 million. That is a massive square miles. It's 5.11, it's 5.12 million square miles, and just have 250 million people living, and that is underpopulation. So we're gonna compare it the other side with Britain, France, and Germany. These are just three countries in Europe, three countries: Britain, France, and Germany. They just have a square miles of less than a million, but they have 244 million people. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. Africans' population is big. It is not. It is not. We are underpopulated, and it's been like this for a long, long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna keep on showing you this slide, and you're gonna judge for yourself, and you're gonna actually think if this myth of African population growing actually makes sense. So you can see Britain, France, and Germany. That's just three countries in Europe. Okay, I've not even put some other ones like Spain and Ukraine and things like that. These people are almost the same population of West Africa, all of West Africa, people living in West Africa, excluding Nigeria. So if there was no Nigeria in West Africa, West Africa has got really, really small population as compared to Europe. And there's always this thing online that Africa has got a big population and we are massive and things like this. We are growing. We are not. And we're gonna prove to you that this is just a myth. They want you to believe you're growing fast and think you get, and they want to make you feel comfortable, and they want to tell you what to do. And we will get into the explanation why there's this narrative that Africa has a growing population on the internet. You're gonna see for yourself, and we're gonna debunk this myth. This is West Africa, okay? All of it, just all of it. It's like really, really small, okay? Really, really small. 9 countries, 5.1 million square miles. It's not even up to the population of 3 Europeans. We've got less than a million miles. West Africa is even better. It's even better. Let's go to this next slide, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Central Africa is even worse. It's even worse. Look, Central Africa, okay, they've just got 52 million people, and these people cover a territory or square miles of over 2 million square miles. And the Western Europe, not even Western Europe, I'm just comparing 3 countries, because even if I add one, the population boom is going to go like really, really high. And so the surface area of these 3 countries is less than a million, and this one is more than 2 million. But they have 244 million people. Just these 3 countries. I'm not even adding more. And the whole of Africa, with almost 2 million square miles, we have less than 55 million people. That is not even up to the population of Ukraine. And bet these people have the nerve to tell you that African population is that Africa is overpopulated. This does not make sense. And I told you, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go into these slides and we're gonna understand why they're saying these things and why we should not believe and why we should actually know how to solve for this kind of propaganda in Africa. Yes. Thank you, whoever is watching. And so for those of you who are gonna stay to the end of this stream, there's a surprise that we're gonna talk about. Okay, so let's move to the first one. Okay, so this is the population, the approximate population of Europe. Okay, they say Europe Okay, that's 2001. The total population of Europe is approximately 744 million people, and the approximate population of Africa is 1.1.3 billion. Well, we should understand that Europe is a people that of almost the same kind of a culture or some kind of a ethnicity and things like that. Africa is so diverse. So if we kind of like move some other people like from the north and things like that, we are not even up to that. But what even makes it worse, we are over African square, like we are over the total surface area of over 11 million square miles, and we are just 1.3 billion people. Okay, we're not even talking about Asia or not. And Europe, that has a little small population, surface area of 3 point almost 3.4 million square miles. There are 744 million people. So there are there's so many people living in Europe. Europe is overpopulated more than Africa by far, comparing the square miles. Africa is a dying population. We are the least. Okay, we're not even comparing this to China, to Asia. But they keep telling you the African population is going to grow and grow. We're going to live. We're going to go to that and that. It's a lie. African population has been stagnant for a really, really long time, and we're going to get into that. We're going to tell you why these things like that is happening, and we're going to see what we can do to stop it. So ladies and gentlemen, so this is just some few statistics. I had to put them on myself. Okay, this is a big one. Okay, let's talk about Asia. Okay, so before we even talk about Asia, let's go back to this one. Okay, so this population stagnation of Africa is something that is being controlled by the West. We're going to tell you why they want it to be, and they want us to remain like that for a reason. And at the end of this stream, we're going to use a really powerful tool to determine why they want us to remain stagnant, and why they want us feel we are the most populated people. We are not. We are the minority. When it comes to population density wise, and so this overpopulation thing is just a joke, because it's just like want to make you feel better while you remain stagnant, and they're going to control this population meat, or this overpopulation meat, by whatever they want to do. They're going to encourage you to kill yourself, through some base like ethnic conflicts, poverty, corruption, and financing, anything, and things like that. Because this is actually uh, a study, and as I said, we're gonna tell you guys why they do all these things. Okay, so we can't even compare that, because we're talking about Europe. We don't know if the Europeans did not have a war, maybe the first and the second world war, will be no way comparing a population with Europe. Okay, first and second world war killed Europeans. It said that almost 70 million of these people lost your life, and it's mostly men. And if you kill a lot of men in a society, of course, the women will not produce. They have less babies and things like that. Despite Europe being engaged in a war that killed almost 70 million of them, their population has still increased dramatically. Africa has not been engaged in any serious war, but still yet our population is stagnant. We are growing at a really, really reduced rate. I'll take for example Japan. Japan had the atomic bomb drop on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but the population of Japan is almost 64 million. How is that possible? They killed a lot of people. Like Germany. Germany had war during the times of Adolf Hitler, during the time of the Russian invasion, or during the First and the Second World War. A lot of men in Europe died. They killed themselves. But still, if you look at the population of this country, there has been a population boom. But African population has not yet improved, but they keep telling you your population is increasing, and that is a lie. So we're just going to go back to the slide. This is just an example. This is all of West Africa, without Nigeria. It's just 259 million people. And this is just France, Britain, and Germany. And these three countries have been in war. First were Second World War, and third, First and Second World War, but still yet they've managed to boost your population up to 244 million. How is that possible? Yes, Tawatako, yes, African dying of disease and things like that. But this is all a propaganda. We get into that, we got into that. We're gonna explain to you why they're saying all these things. It's just a myth. It's we're not growing in population. African population is dying. We're actually dying. We are actually the minority on this planet, and they're just telling you you're meant to make you feel happy. We are not. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so we talk about the comparison of things like that. 744 million people living under 3.9, 3 point, almost 3.4 million square miles, and only 1.3 billion people, living over 11.7 million square miles. This is underpopulation, or this is underpopulation and overpopulation. The density is just so we can compare. Again, but for some reason, they keep talking about Africa. The population of Africa is growing. We need to make sure the population of Africa and things like that. But they don't talk of Asia. We're going to see how Asia, they even have bigger population and smaller density, but no one is complaining about how big your population is growing. It's always Africa. Oh, Africa, your population is growing this and that and that. It's because of population. Because of poverty. No, your increased population is causing poverty and things like that. It's just a lie. So let's talk about Asia. Let's just look at let's look some few countries in Asia. Let's take let's look at this. This is Bangladesh. We all know Bangladesh has got its own problem. Bangladesh has got a massive population of people, the poverty rate, the insanity, and things like that. But no one, you never hear anyone talking about the Bangladesh overpopulation crisis. You don't hear that. It's Africa. Oh, your population is this. No one talks about Bangladesh. I don't even want to mention China and India. The whole of China is more than the whole continent of Africa, including anyone. But still yet, they're the ones that will decide how to carry on and things like that. But that is 164 million people. No one mentions about how Bangladesh is overpopulated or the poverty and things like that. Every 1 minute, please. Yeah, so 164 million people in Bangladesh, and no one is complaining about the Bangladesh overpopulation. Let's go to the next one. Philippines, 109 million people in the Philippines, and it's still counting. They have their swamps, their shanty towns, they have their problems. No one talks about overpopulation in Philippines. It's only Africa. Why? We're gonna tell you why why these Europeans are only interested in talking about African population, and you'll be surprised. Okay. Yeah. So again, this is another one. And Pakistan. Pakistan is approximately 220 million people. Those are Asian countries. They have their poverty issues. They have all kind of stuff going on in Pakistan, but no one talks about Pakistan overpopulation issue. It's only Africa. Africa, Africa, Africa. Your population is growing. We need to make sure your population is controlled. Things like that. And this is it's a game that we're gonna show you guys what actually is going on with this little slide. So this is just a rundown, to put everything on one slide. You've got the Bangladesh, 164 million people. That's way more than most African countries. Now, taking away Nigeria, I don't know if Ethiopia is even up to that. There's no other African country that is even close. Take away Nigeria, there's no other African country that's even close to 160, 100 million. I think Ethiopia should be 120. I don't know. That's Philippines, 110. Very few African countries can ever reach that amount, and these people are counting, and no one complains about that. And you have Pakistan, 220 million, and it's counting, and no one complains about Pakistan. It's Africa. So let's go to the slide, ladies and gentlemen. And I found this really, really important interactive map that is actually going to show you how big African countries are in relation to the size, how it's been drawn on the map. It's really, really good studies. Our want most of you in your free time, you can go to this website. It's the truesites.com, because they kind of explain that the way this map was drawn, I don't know if it was drawn on purpose. So the countries that are on the equator, they appear to be smaller, and the countries that are closer to the North Poles, they drew them bigger. I don't know if that was done on purpose. If it was kind of a white supremacy ideology or whatever. So let's go to this website and see. I just try some little bit. We have some interactive studies here. So let me share my screen here. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is a map that is going to show you. It's a little that is going to show you actually how African countries, how actually big they are as compared to what is being drawn on them. So according to this, they say like countries that found themselves around the equator, they appear to be smaller as what the actual size is. So I just want to do some example here. Okay, let's choose a country. Let's say Nigeria. Hey, Nigeria has been highlighted, okay? So this is the size of Nigeria on the map, but this size is actually wrong because Nigeria is right there at the equator. But if we take Nigeria and we try to take it towards the pole, you see how Nigeria gets bigger because that's the actual size. So if Nigeria was to be drawn on that on the North Pole, this is how actually Nigeria is big. So if you put Nigeria, there is almost all of Britain, France, Belgium, France, and Germany. If you bring it here, it's like actually big. But if you look Nigeria on the equator of Africa, it's actually a really, really small country. So when you have your free time, go to this website, and it's called the truesites.com. You have some interactive activities and things like that. Let's take let's see this Iceland. So the Iceland is right up there on the Greenland on the North Pole. So because it's at the North Pole, the actual size has been magnified maybe 10 times. So let's see Greenland. Sorry, Greenland. I said Iceland. So let's go to Greenland. If you look at this thing, it's almost bigger than Africa. And some people will think Greenland is bigger than Africa, but Greenland is on the North Pole, so it has been maximized for some reason. So if we bring Greenland close to the equator, oh my God, look how small Greenland is. So if Greenland was being drawn to the on the equator, that's the actual size of Greenland. But looking at Greenland from this map, Greenland is actually the size of Africa. So really good interactive map and things like that. Let's do one more example. Let's look at let's say the United States, and this 48 country. That's the United States. The United States is actually really, really big. You can think United States is all of the northern side of Africa, but it's closer to the North Pole. So if we bring the United States to the equator, well, it can fit completely inside Africa. It's not too small, but it's big, but it's not as big as on the map here. So this is the country's actual size. And let me blow your mind. Let's take something like DRC. Let's say Congo. Let's say I think it should be Congo. Yeah. Okay. Congo. So this one will just be like all of Europe. Exactly. So that's the actual size of um uh, um Congo when it compares to its actual position. So when you have your free time, go here. You can compare your sizes of countries, and even Russia. Russia is like the whole world, okay? But let's just do one more. Let's say Russia. Okay, it's quite big. It's quite big, but it's like the whole world. Let's bring it closer to the equator. Oh my God! So this is the actual size of Russia. It's big, but it's not like the whole world. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your free time, go to this website. It's it's called thetruesize.com. It's live. It's actually interactive and things. Yeah. So you can learn something for you can learn a little bit from that website. So it's actually cool. So this is one of the things that you can actually know. So comparing the size, okay, comparing the size of these countries to this little slice here, okay, to this little slice here, you could actually see that these countries are far bigger. So that even gives you the scale how much we are bigger and we are underpopulated. We are really, really underpopulated. This made that Africa, the population is out of proportion. It's a lie. As I said, we're going to tell you guys why they do that. Thank you, my brother Njazula. Thank you, my brother Njazula. PA forever. So we're going to get into this thing. And if you stay, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you, we're going to stay to the end of this stream. Surprise. Learn something from me today that you're going to teach, I don't know, your loved one, your children, whatever. And it's even going to make you pass your exams. It's something that people are complaining about that it should not be legal. And it's going to blow your mind. No, believe me. So we learn about this interactive map. We talk about how the size of the web map of this world map was thrown out of proportion. I don't know if it was on purpose or these people actually did it on purpose so that to make Africa look small. So if you've not been here, we've done some interactive. Yeah, the name of the website is this. I'll show you. Uh, Sorry, is this? It's called. Am I? Are you? Let's see. Am I sure? Am I showing it? Yeah, it's called the Resize. TheTrueSize.com. TheTrueSize.com. You can copy it. That's the name of the website. You can actually bring countries closer to the equator or further away from the equator. So the further you go from the equator, they just become bigger. The closer you come to the equator, the smaller. So since most African countries are on the equator, they're actually smaller as to their actual size. The Europes are closer to the North Pole, so they appear actually really, really big. So go to this site and it's a really, really interactive thing. And ladies and gentlemen, if you just come in, please do like and subscribe. And that is the Pan-African Alliance. We're talking about liberating Africa and making Africa a completely true continent. We take our diaspora into consideration as well. And okay, so this is another thing that is actually making me think that we, the African population, we are not growing. We are stagnant. We are stagnant, and but they keep us telling you, "Oh, we are growing in this and that." That is a lie. So we're gonna look at the mortality rate. And we're gonna try to predict if we continue like this, if we're ever going to attain this population that these people tell us we're going to attain. I do actually know they know we're never going to do that, but they're using that propaganda that your population, because for a reason they did that at the end of this stream. So let's just look at the mortality rate under 5. So this is the mortality rate according to the World Health Organization. According to the World Health Organization, okay, the under 5 mortality rate in Africa was approximately. Am I sharing? Yeah, was approximately 49 deaths per year, 49 deaths per 1,000 lives per in 2020, and this is considered to be really, really high. So if we are making babies for them to die, we're not going anywhere. Okay, we're just gonna remain stagnant and things are not gonna change. And we're gonna see how we're gonna stop that. The PAA will give you solutions for things like that. And this is Asia. Despite they have a high population, your death rate is just on the 28,000, 28 deaths per 1,000 lives, okay, and that is considered lower than average. And this is Europe. They just have they just have 4, so they're still at a really, really good rate of child mortality, but we are dying. African, we actually, you understand, we just say Africa, but looking for more of this data, We are the minority, and we're even getting to more minority. Don't be fooled and say, oh, Africa is growing, blah, blah, blah. If you take Nigeria out, we actually nothing. You know, if we take Nigeria out, we're actually nothing. Yeah. So, but this is actual fact. This is data. So it's not a fake thing, because data like this, it might not be actually correct. The numbers may be lower, because if they actually want to register every child dying under 5 year, under five per thousand, I think it will be more in Africa, comes to disease, war, and things like that, calamities. So this is the actual data. So we are still dying. We are still dying. We are not growing. We are remaining stagnant. Okay. And so we should have this we should take this into consideration, and that even helping us killing the people. They make us fight among ourselves some baseless ethnic tribal wars, and they're targeting young men. You don't know, if we kill 100 men in a country, I think we have pushed the child, like the population growth of that country so many years behind, because there are shortage of men to produce children and things like that. So if you have a war and they say almost 1 million men are dead, that is so bad for that country. I don't know, maybe it's going to take you like 100 years for you to meet up again. So things like that, we should know that most of these things, they're done on purpose. And okay, so this is the big question. Okay, the question about Africans growing population. Well, we're gonna answer this question with an A, with what I'm gonna tell you. Uh, the big surprise. We're gonna use my big surprise to answer this question. But for now, I just want you to keep this question in mind. So, if all these things I'm talking about, well, the dying population, we are less populated. So why is it just Africa? Why is the world crying about African population? We've looked at Asia. They've got bigger population, poverty. They've not got access to anything like most African countries, but no one is talking about them. So why Africa? So we're gonna get into that, but for now, just skip this question. Let's see what I have again on this. Okay, let's watch this. Let's watch Brigade. I just hope they don't take this video down, because like somebody said Bill Gates. But we're just gonna watch Bill Gates and listen to him. And yeah, How Europe has got only 4 deaths. Their population is steady. They tell you, oh, their population is dying. It is not. European women don't want to have children, but they're more fit. They're more fertile. If they have children, their children remain. So let's not buy into this bullshit that, oh, we are growing. We are not. Okay, so let's just watch this thing about brigades, and let's just be careful. I just hope uh, they don't take this video down. Okay, let's watch this and let's comment on this.
Double by 2050, raising fears that progress in fighting poverty and disease will be reversed. So, what can be done to ensure that poverty doesn't increase? And how can a disproportionately large youth population help drive progress? With me to discuss all of this and more is Bill Gates. Bill, are we at a turning point where regression is a real risk?
Well, first, the progress over the last several decades has been pretty amazing. Both reducing childhood death, getting kids in school, getting agricultural productivity up, and reducing extreme poverty. But it's really Africa that still has a doubling in population to 2050, and probably another doubling to 2100.
That is a lie. We are not doubling. We are stagnant, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the kind of false narrative that they tell people in Africa. And you hear some Africans say, "Oh, we're gonna take over the world." You're not gonna take over the world. Your population is gonna go down, because you're actually minority. You are underpopulated. You're underpopulated. Europeans are population. Their population growth is stuck. Is on a steady graph, but you're dying more. Child mortality, wars, poverty, and things like that. And yeah, let's just watch. Say, but they'll keep telling you your population is going to grow, and we're happy. That is just a lie. Let's just continue watching.
Where you really have to do a good job if you're trying to get these extreme poverty rates down. So if we don't do better in investing in human capital in Africa, yes, the number of people in extreme poverty is actually going to go up.
Should the solution, or should more
Listen to
solutions
her.
be focused on slowing that growth? So, for example,
Okay. The According to this lady, she says more solution should be focused on slowing the growth. You understand? I don't know where this mindset. We need to slow the growth. So things like that. Let's just keep watching. Let's listen to what Mr. Big Gates is going to say.
increasing reproductive rights for women or spreading the access to contraceptives, because it seems that, is it correct that no amount of investment can really keep pace with that population growth?
What we do between now and 2050 with education, with economic growth, with health and nutrition, that will really set the course for moderating the population growth between 2050 and 2100.
Okay. The one to moderate. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, look at this projection, this projected population in sub-Saharan Africa. So the red line we all see is the UN projection. So UN projects that by, I don't know, was that 2021, whatever, 2100, the population in Africa is going to be 4 billion. Well, that's just the population of Africa. If the population of Africa is going to get 4 billion, well, China and India, that's almost half of this, going to get double, but no one is talking about. But then again, look at this blue line. They say if there's a shift away from early birth, what does that even mean? So from having birth, we're going to bring that to this. And if unwanted fertility is addressed, we're going to bring that to 30% less. So they're actually projecting how to reduce the population of Africa. That is the fact. It's right there. They're actually projecting how to reduce the population of Africa. This is some kind of statistics that I don't know if people actually say it or if it actually makes sense. UN projection 4 billion, they don't like it. They're telling you if we can stop this, if we can bring this unwanted fertility, so we need to get women from having babies, I don't know, abortion, whatever, contraceptives, stop them. We need to bring that, and that is the target. Let's just listen again.
But it's really a virtuous cycle, letting women have reproductive health tools that they want, educating girls, raising agricultural productivity, getting these malnutrition interventions on a much greater scale than we have today. Those are the things you would want to do anyway. It turns out that by doing those well, you also set the population growth rate coming down quite a bit. And so it just makes it that much more imperative that we invest in the human capital now, and so that the challenge of what under any scenario will be fairly high population growth, that you're able to benefit from all those young people.
So how do you want to invest in human capital with your aim of reducing the population? I don't get that. You understand? So this is simple standard ideology. So let's listen to him.
Making a big contribution to their country.
So is the fact that Africa has such a high proportion of youth population and within the context of this predicted growth, is that something that you think is a sort of optimistic statistic? I mean, is it a good thing that there's an opportunity here to sort of harness the power of those young people?
Yeah, before he says anything, well, Africa is not the only population the only continent that has got a lot of young people in the population. We've got Asia. Asia's got a lot of young people. Well, not China or India, like even India, but when you go to countries like Bangladesh, Philippines, and things like that, they've got they've got young people as well. They've got young people as well, even India, but they're not. No one is telling them, well, you have a young population and it's not good for you. Well, they always say, well, India has got a young population, so everyone in India, but in Africa, it's a problem. Young population is a problem. But when it comes to Asia, it's a good thing. So many countries are going to India to establish your factories. But when it comes to Africa, it's always an issue about population. Let's listen to Mr. Bill Gates again.
It's both an opportunity and a challenge, because the capacity to run the health systems well, to get the education system to have not only high attendance but good learning.
Yeah, that's overpopulation. That's what population under the age of 25, 60 in Europe is 27. Well, I don't know. These people just like really poor people, so it doesn't make any sense. They're gonna die most of them before they reach 60 or whatever.
Learning outcomes as well. That's not going to be easy if we don't make these investments. That youth bulge, will be a huge challenge because they won't have the development, they won't have the economic opportunity that they deserve. So it's potentially an asset, but if we don't invest right, it could even be a liability.
Let's talk about digital technology for a minute. We know that more people than ever before are connected, more people than ever before have bank accounts. Those are both positives. But what would you say are the biggest opportunities in digital tech?
Yeah, before I continue, let me just throw out a shout out there. So let's do this. Well, I want to thank everyone who have been subscribed to my channel and watching my video. We had this little notification from YouTube. We are still a little small channel, but we are growing at a really fast rate. I didn't expect that, for being very small subscribers and having 300 watch hours in no time. That is something that is good to me. And they say people actually liking your video. So thanks, massive thanks to all the supporters. I really do appreciate. Let's continue.
Technology in terms of fighting poverty and disease.
Yeah, digital innovation is really pervasive. And so whether it's tracking, do you have the vaccines out where they should be?
We don't want to use that word, but you understand. You always come into the V word. Yeah.
Getting feedback from citizens, as the teacher showing up and doing a good job. Digital systems let you achieve a higher quality and really assure, whether it's the domestic taxpayers or the donors, that their money's going to the right things in a way that without
Okay, so this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can imagine that people actually sit and debate and contemplate about Africa's growing population, for which I've actually proven to you that we are underpopulated. So why are they always interested? African population is doing this. African population is doing that. So we're gonna explain to you why, and that part of this show is gonna be really, really interesting. We're gonna analyze things ourselves live, and you're gonna make your own judgment. So let's just have patience and watch all this clip from Mr. Bill Gates.
digital we couldn't do.
I just want to turn back to the US for a minute. Under the current US administration, under President Donald Trump, there's been a lot of threats to cutting the foreign aid budget and even withholding funding from UN agencies.
Okay, that's the word, foreign aid. Just keep that word in mind, foreign aid. When we're talking about what is actually going on, just keep that word somewhere in the back of your mind, foreign aid. Let's continue.
Is it damaging, that kind of rhetoric that exists right now?
Well, certainly, if countries turn inwards and they're not thinking about the long term and this challenge of helping Africa develop in a very stable.
Another one, helping Africa, foreign aid, helping Africa. Those are two keywords.
Self-sufficient way. If you think that helping other countries over time is not beneficial, then that's going to be turning back on this model of helping out the poorest. And so when those recommendations in the U.S. to cut the foreign aid budget came out of the executive branch, were put forward, we certainly, our foundation, was talking with Congress about what we've seen, that foreign aid is working super well, whether it's malaria, HIV, and so many different areas.
Yeah, foreign aids, like the controlling things.
Pleasing that the Congress, on a very bipartisan basis, chose to maintain these commitments.
Okay, the Congress chose to maintain those commitments. They don't do that because they like you. It's because of a reason. I'll explain to you at the end of the show. Let's continue.
That are so critical. So foreign aid has stayed flat. Ideally, it would be going up. but in the face of
Okay. Foreign aid will be going up. Foreign aid will be going up. And that is one of the problems. So I will explain these things now. All we come, we're gonna put all this thing into a nutshell, and you're gonna
some of this turning inwards, the fact that the European countries have remained generous, and the U.S. levels are steady. That is a good thing. We just have to continue to make sure it's spent as best we can.
Okay, and one final question for you. There's a question in the report that really stood out to me, which is it asks, is extreme poverty inevitable? Could you summarize what it will take to ensure that poverty is not inevitable?
We know what works. Human capital, agricultural sector, taking advantage of innovation, whether that's new seeds, new vaccines, or
okay. Yeah,
the
that
digital
word again.
platform. It's clear if we make the right investments to help these countries, they can get virtually all their citizens out of extreme poverty.
Okay, so we don't want to talk so much about the V word, because we know if you talk about the V word, you risk getting your channel being blocked. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so let's continue to slide. If you're coming new, we're trying to prove to you that Africa is actually underdeveloped and underpopulated, actually the minority compared to size and things like that to most Asian countries, and no one's talking about that. And we talk about the mortality rate. And okay, so this is the thing. European actually they celebrate huge families. Okay, if you don't know, when in Africa, when we cite a family that children, the West they always complain, how are you gonna feed that and blah blah blah. But Europe actually celebrate people who've got so much children. So I've got some two slides of some European families with really really big children that they're actually celebrating them all over Europe because they know the importance of that population. So let's see what we have here. Okay, this is one family in the UK. They've got 20 children, like 20, and no one is telling them this is overpopulation. The country is taking all of care of them. They're really happy. They talk good about them. That is your population. It's in the UK. I think that was last 2 or 3 years they had their 20th babies. So when people say European women don't have children, I don't know what you're talking about. They do, they do. So this Europe, this one of them, and there's another one in America. I had to find another one in America, and this America they have 19 children and they are celebrated. But we all know if Africa women have more than 2 or 3 children, you will see there will be like a lot of backlash. There was one time Emmanuel Macron said that African poverty was due to women having so much children. But you know what? That video has been taken down from YouTube due to so much clash, from Africans and even African presidents. I've tried to search for that video online. It's nowhere to be found. They've actually taken it down because they know that was a bad statement. And yeah. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is where we come to the interactive part of this show. So we're gonna answer this question here now. What is the big question? The big question about African goings population. Why to Europe so concerned about African goings population? And the simple answer is that because they are the ones feeding you. Europe is actually feeding Africa. I'm going to prove that to you. That's why they're worried, because the more your population grow, the more they can feed you. I'm just going to give you a really simple example. If you, like most of you who live in Europe, okay, if you uncle or some aunt in Africa that you actually taking care of, you're providing for your children, providing food and shelter. If that your aunt or your uncle keeps having more children, you start feeling really, really uncomfortable. That's just the truth, because you know what? If they have so much children, you'll be able to feed them. You understand? We might think we are doing some trade and things like that. We're gonna debug this trade thing. Africa is trading with Europe. We're not. They're just feeding us. That is the main reason. That's why they're not talking about Asia or some part in the Middle East with, I don't know, with so many children, it's Africa, because our leaders have actually sold out to Europe. Europe is feeding Africa, and so much population in Africa is going to mean, so it's going to cost them so much on your pocket. They don't want that, and they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we don't go over a population that they don't control. And if we continue trying to grow, they're going to shut you down in any way, through wars, sterilization, and things like that, because you depend on them for food. So the only way for us Africans to get out of this European crying foul over Africa is for us to feed ourselves, maintain ourselves, be our own country, provide for our own citizens. And that's why when we're talking about the Pan-African Alliance, we're trying to create politicians who understand these things, because our present politicians, I don't want to call them clueless, they just follow a status quo, and they don't even judge them. They don't have critical and philosophical thought where they try to analyze things like that. So, just talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen now? We're going to use okay, so we're going to answer this question and said, yeah, so we're going to use AI. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to teach you some really, really um, powerful AI tool, and some of them help me to create these ads, and we're going to use it to try to determine how Europe fits Africa, how we actually work with them. Okay, so it's really, really powerful thing. I just want you to relax and watch, and we're going to see how this AI tool is going to give us some examples. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to try, because I'm going to talk now without my hand on my microphone. If you can hear me, please just let me know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to this really, really powerful tool. Uh, it's called, uh, just wait. It's called Chat GPT. It's an open, powerful AI that you can use to ask so many questions. And let me just try to refresh this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let me try to refresh so that we get a new slate. Okay, so Chat GT, it's a really actually powerful AI. And ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to pay attention. You're gonna see how you're gonna harness the power of AI. You can use it for your own studies and make some basic analysis and understand things the way. And this is really powerful tool. So today you're gonna be happy you've learned something. How about using an AI? And ChatGPT is actually free. It's open source from OpenAI project, one of Elon Musk's projects. So openai.com. So let's just start something else. Then before we go trying to analyze how things. So it's just like a chat box. You interact with it. So let's say something really, really simple. Let's say, let's just say something that you will not be impressed. Where is Nigeria found? Nigeria found. Oh, located. Sorry. Yeah, I don't mind about that. Okay. So that's ChatGI. It's gonna tell you everything about, like, short questions. So I know you're not impressed. Just wait. Give me a moment. You can do this on YouTube. Sorry, on the Google, and you can still uh, get the same result. Okay. So now let's try to see why how the prof always talked about the African countries is we depend on European. All our market is towards them. Okay, so if they stop consuming our product, we are doomed, because most of the product we even produce in African countries, we don't consume them. Our agricultural sector is not built for our own food that we consume. It's built for European countries. And if you don't know, European countries are trying their best to be independent of most African countries, or to import goods. They want to be self-sufficient. They're using the technology, leveraging the power of AI, whatever. So I'm going to show you this. Okay, let's take an example. Just see how more African countries export. So let's use some 3 or 4 main countries. Let's say Let's ask the AI. What is Nigeria's main export? I know. Okay, so that's it. So just watch this. AI is really powerful. So okay, says Nigerian make export. Say agricultural product, things like that, cocoa, rubber, palm oil, that zinc, and whatever. Nigerian coal and oil and things like that. Okay, that's Nigeria. Let's take Kenya. We're gonna summarize all this thing and you're gonna understand what I'm saying. Export. Okay. Kenya make okay, so don't worry, So you're gonna blow your mind. This is just the beginning of how AI is really powerful. Okay. It gives you so much things, but we're gonna summarize this. Okay. So Kenya, tea, flour, and that. Well, yeah, you can get this on YouTube, but this is just the beginning. Let's say Cameroon. Let's mm, sorry for my typo. Let's say what is Cameroon mean? Export. Okay. The major export of Cameroon is oil, petroleum product, and cocoa, rubber, timber, wood product, and things like. And let's just take one more. Let's take Zimbabwe. Okay. What is Zim? Zimbabwe, if I can spell. Zimbabwe main export. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's just say. Okay, it says Zimbabwe main export is tobacco. So, ladies and gentlemen, so if you see this, okay, we're gonna create a list for things you can see. So, what this country export is not actually what we consume. We're trying to fit the West, and that is a problem. If they stop buying from us, if they have an alternative, we're doomed because we don't have industry to actually provide our own food. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take all this data and create a spreadsheet. This is where this AI becomes powerful. So let's say create a spreadsheet of the above countries and their sorry main exports. Okay, so good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is powerful. Isn't that amazing? So if this does not blow your mind, then I don't know what's going to make you. So with this, okay, this is just the first part, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So this how this AI is very powerful. Yeah, I know this is just the beginning. We're gonna say more stuff about chat AI that you're gonna be really, really be amazed. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so according to this list, we just have trees and the main export. So Nigeria is oil, petroleum, okay, agricultural product, cocoa, rubber, palm oil, solid minerals and things like that. So if you actually know, Nigeria as countries don't really consume most of these things. Well, they may have oil, but we still know due to that Nigeria still got some shortage of oil and electricity. Cocoa, we export the cocoa, almost all of it. Rubber, palm oil is for the what's it called cosmetic industry. Solid minerals, tin is export. The same. Kenya agricultural product is for export. Tea. Kenya has not got a tea culture, but they have a massive agriculture to export tea. Coffee. Kenya is not a country that has coffee, drinks coffee as their culture. They've got flowers. Kenya has actually got what's it called greenhouses that were to export flowers. So most of what is sustaining the economy is to build the West is for the European market. So They actually tell us what to do, and that is really wrong. Cameroon the same. Don't really have anything so much. It's export coffee, rubber, timber, all of the worst, and Zimbabwe the same. Platinum mineral, golds, and things like that. And some people say, oh, we have gold. Well, gold is just a mineral. And if we don't give gold value, gold has got no value. We just keep it. I actually believe alloys, maybe bauxite, some kind of aluminum oxide alloys are more important than gold because looking around you, everything you see is some kind of an aluminum alloy. So aluminum manufacturing is more important for African countries, like just talking gold. Because what you do with gold, you just talk gold. You just keep it somewhere. You don't use it to do anything. It's just a store of value. So if that value of gold becomes nothing, that gold is nothing. You can use it for anything, but at least bauxite, aluminium, you can use for manufacture. Let's do one more example. Okay, let's look what this country, what their main exporters are. So let's say, what is Nigeria? Main export country, something like that. Country. Okay, so top Nigerian export country. So United States, India, and China. Let's say Zimbabwe. Let's just copy and just change the names. Change the name. Paste. Let's say Cameroon. Okay, top export destination for Cameroon, China, United States. Always the West. No African country is trading with one another. So let's paste this other one. Let's say Ghana. It's the main ones anyway. Yeah. Okay. Main Ghana is major export. Export Ghana, China, United States, Netherlands, and this. And let's just say Zimbabwe. Let's just use the main ones, the ones we used before. Okay. Zimbabwe. Okay. Yeah. Always China. Blah 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 blah. So let's create again another spreadsheet. Create a spreadsheet of available countries in the main export, exporting countries. I hope the AI understand what I'm trying to tell it. Okay, so good. So that's why chat AI is powerful. You can actually make your own research, and it's going to give you some information. So if you look at it, if you look at this list, you can see most African countries. It's just five, and if you keep digging, it's always the same. Nigeria, United States, India, China, Kenya, United States, Uganda. At least they've got 1 year. United Kingdom, Cameroon, China, United States, India, Zimbabwe, South Africa. Okay, China, United States, Emirates, Ghana, China, United States, Netherlands. And this is the problem because we are exporting our product to these people and they need to buy it. Okay, that's why they're worried about our population because they actually feed us. If our population keep increasing, okay, and they can actually buy, they can actually provide, or they can actually pay for the amount, the required amount of, or they can actually ask them to pay, then that is a problem for them because they will have to spend more money on your pocket to pay Africans to feed your population. So that's why they're always complaining about Africans' population because they actually feed us. They control our economy. They want Africans to be stagnant so that we can just give them the goods and they give us the same amount of money so that they don't need to worry about the population. But they're worried about the population because they can keep on, they can't pay more. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we say, that's why what we in the Pan African Alliance, we need to actually groom African presidents who actually understand how to make Africa trade among itself. We need to learn how to feed ourselves. If we can feed ourselves, we don't need to be worried about all these people talking about our rising population, because as we demonstrated, we are actually underpopulated. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you think about chat. This chat G GPT chat GPT. Yeah, we don't manufacture anything, so it's really a powerful tool. And if you want to go there, you can always go to the website. It's called Chat GPT. So I'll put it here, and it's a really powerful AI. It's from the Open AI program, things created by Elon Musk. You can learn so much. You can ask it question, and again, we're gonna do more little demonstration, and it's gonna blow your mind. And there's another one that is called the Mid Journey. So I don't think if I will be able to actually do a demonstration on this one, and it is really really nice. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's do one more demonstration on the power of the let's see the power of uh, the chat GPT. Okay, so this is a really powerful tool. I know for those of you writing exams, you can come to Chat GPT, and any question that you've been asked, you just need to ask Chat GPT, and they're gonna write you a really, really. It's gonna tell you exactly the correct answer. So let me just do two more presentation on Chat GPT. So before we say anything, so you've seen how we use Chat GPT to try to do some basic analysis, without screwing on so many Google pages. You can do some analyze. You can write some data. Get all your information and ask them to create a shade of a summary of all those things, and they do that for you. And that's what we've been doing. So I actually use this chat GPT to create some of these slides. It's a really cool way of learning. And so let me show you some other good things that this chat GPT can be used for. So let's say you want to write, let's say you want to write an email. So let's me think of something. Okay, let's say I want to write an email to my teacher or professor, telling her I can do my homework. So I don't really know how to make that sound good. So I may just tell ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, so you can say, write an email to this, let's just call her Susie. Okay. Is that telling her I can't work. So we want to write. So I don't know what to say, but so let's just see what chat G give me. Let's say, okay, this is so cool. Dear Miss Susie, I'm sorry to say that I won't be able to do my homework tonight. I'm currently experiencing some personal issues that have been taking up a lot of my entire time and energy, and I simply don't have the mental or physical capacity to focus on my schoolwork right now. I understand if this causes any problem or concern, and I promise to do my best to catch up as soon as I am able. In the meantime, please let me know if there's anything I can do to help make this situation easier for everyone involved. Sincerely. Well, I think this is a really professional email. I won't be able to craft this myself. That's just one of the power of chat GPT. And again, so for most people, we're gonna do some one more example, and you're gonna see how GPT to actually make money. So let's just do some fictional thing just to show you how powerful this application is. And okay, Yeah. It's really really powerful. Yeah, I'm telling you, I work. So just go to it. So I can't write this professionally. No, English is not my first language. So just say anything and it's gonna do it for you. Like powerful. Let me even blow your mind more. So this is the tool that we use it to learn, and it's even still on beta. It's still on beta. It's still learning, and this is AI. What makes it really powerful is AI, and AI only keeps getting better. So let me do something that's gonna blow your mind. Okay. So watch this. Watch this. Uh we can say create me. Okay, let's say create me. Listen to this. Something just came to my mind. A children book. Let's say about a warrior. Is that how we write warrior? Yeah, as warrior. A warrior ant who defeated the killer bee to save its colony. So I can say maximum max 400 words. Please, just watch this. Create a children book about a warrior ant who defeated the killer bee to save its colony. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Once upon a time, in a small ant colony deep in the forest, lived a brave warrior ant named Max. Max was the strongest and bravest ant in the colony, and he was ready to protect his family and friends from any anger that came their way. One day, a fierce killer bee invaded the ant colony, determined to take over and destroy everything in its path. The other ants were terrified and didn't know what to do, but Max was not afraid, and he knew that he had to save his colony and protect the ones he loved. Max grabbed his armor and sword. Hmm. With a fierce with determination in his heart, he charged at the killer bee. The bee fought back with all its might, but Max was a skilled warrior and he was not afraid to take the risks. He swung his sword with all his strength, and with a mighty blow he struck the killer bee and sent it tumbling to the ground. The other ants cheered as Max stood victorious over the defeated killer bee. They knew that their colony was safe now, thanks to their brave warrior, and Max was hailed as a hero, and he was celebrated throughout the colony for his bravery and strength. From that day on, Max was known as the greatest warrior ant in the colony, and he lived happy ever after, always ready to protect his family from any danger that threatened his home. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a storybook, and it's just made this thing out of thin air. If these things don't actually make you feel threatened, you're gonna be like really really worried. So this is just AI. So this is what I was telling you. This is something I'm going to share at the end of this thing. Yeah, it's free. It's free. Just look for AI. It's called Chat GP. Let me put it here. It's called Chat GPT AI. It's open source. It's from the Open AI project. You understand? So it's free. It's free. You don't download it. You don't download anything. It's all on your browser. So and this is really powerful. And again, I'm gonna do one more thing that is gonna make you feel really, really proud of what we're doing here. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, before I end this thing, I'm gonna ask this. Something just came into my mind. I'm gonna ask, and again, so before we go, you can let's say the AI to add paragraphs to this little story. So, for example, you can say add a section where Marx was, let's say, wounded. sorry, wounded by a bee. So see, okay, and it's gonna add that section for you. But Mark's victory did not come without cause. I didn't say, come on. As he stood victorious over the killer bee, he noticed that he had been wounded in the battle, and a bee stung him on the leg, and the pain was intense. Come on, man. And he just keep you can just keep adding, keep adding, and it's gonna take into consideration what is written, and it's going to keep on following, and it's going to create a complete story. This is so powerful, and it's something everyone is talking about. Even tutors and professors in universities are worried about this open chat because they say children cheat. A lot of school people, they cheat. They just go ask GP to write them anything. You can just give him some 2 words or 3 words, and it's going to create a really, really professional for you. Course about anything, just give it some word. It's so powerful, and if you don't like the response, you can regenerate it. It's going to regenerate the response until you are satisfied. And this is just the beginning of what this thing is doing. And so I'm using it a lot to learn more about Africa and see how to make the Pan-African Alliance better. And this is the last one. We're going to use ChatGPT. Then I'm going to show you the other AI that we going to use it to actually create a children book. So I've seen many people actually come use chat gp to create actually a children's book, and they're selling it on Amazon. They have no idea, just have some fantasy, and you can write it. You can go on chat gpt and give it your ideas and keep making it, customizing it, and it's going to give you the perfect children book. You can just copy it and send it somewhere, and you can create a book. I'm going to show you how you can actually use this chat gpt or the text to actually create the photos or the images to build up your book. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. So you're gonna learn so much stuff, so much important things today. And so before we do that, let me just ask this chat gpt to do me something. So I'm to create me a song for the Pan-African Alliance. Let's see what's going to happen. So create song about the Pan African Alliance, how it will save Africa, how it no, how it will unite Africa. So let's see what is gonna happen. I hope this song becomes a nice one. Oh, here we go. Ah, damn. Ladies and gentlemen, ChatGPT is actually writing me a song for the Pan African Alliance. This is crazy. Oh my God. I think I am out of words. I didn't expect it to do this. Let's see what is written. Verse 1. We are the Pan African Alliance, united across the continent. From Cairo to Cape Town, we stand together strong and proud. We are one Africa. We are one voice. We are the Pan African Alliance. We will unite this land and make it whole. We are the Pan African Alliance. Damn. Verse 2. From the savannah to the sea, we are diverse, yet we are free. We celebrate our differences and embrace our common heritage. Damn. We are one Africa. We are one voice. We are the Pan African Alliance. We will unite this land and make it whole. We are the Pan African Alliance. Damn. Bridge. We will overcome our divisions and we will build a better future for our children. And we will work together hand in hand to create a brighter tomorrow for our land. We are one Africa. We are one voice. We are the Pan African Alliance. We unite this land and make it whole. We are Pan African. Oh God, ladies and gentlemen, I think I should copy this song and look for a composer. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. it's really really powerful. So this is some of the things we you can do with chat AI. So most of you who have been here, you know, uh, most of you have been here. No, I'm a thank you, but AI does not recycle things that have been created. That is not true. I don't know where you get that information. AI is learning and it's always getting better. AI is doing more things that human could ever think of doing. And ladies and gentlemen, so that was the chat AI. That was one of the surprise I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you another really powerful tool. It's called the Mid Journey. So if you want to get like images. Okay, let's say this. Let's say we want to create images for this our little book here that we created that we use AI to create. Okay, so let's try to create the poster. It's a brave warrior ant. Okay, so let's go to this application. Let's see if I can share. Uh, let's see if I can share my screen. So let's do this before we actually leave. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, so I'm gonna share. Okay, mm, all right. Mm, I don't think I can share this. I'm so sorry. And all right. Well, anyway, I can't share that. It's called Mid Journey. For some reason, I can't do that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so that was the short video I had for this day. So let's just give a recap of what we did, and let's just go back. Uh, let's just go to the recap. And yeah, again, massive thanks to all the supporters. Those who've been coming to our channel. I'm not always present. It's just a little channel. We're still growing, but we actually want to grow with the so we've 3,000 watch of view. I'm so really impressed. I'm not even on this thing most of the time. And thank all of you for subscribing and being part of the Pan African Alliance. And this is a recap. We're talking about how African population, how we are underpopulated. This is the whole of West Africa, almost the whole of West Africa without Nigeria. It's got the square miles of 5.1 million, but we just got a population of 259 million, and just three countries in Europe, France, Britain, and Germany, they've got 244 million. So telling that so we are overpopulated makes no sense. And so our Central Africa is even the worst. We've got square miles of 2 million, and all this country is just 52 million. You can't even compare with that. And yeah, so comparing African population and European population in proportion to the size, we can't even compare. So we're actually underpopulated. And we talk about Asia. Asia is approximately 4.5 billion, but no one complains about underpopulation in Asia. It's always about Africa. We're not even closer. You've got countries like Bangladesh. They've got up to 6.4 million people. Yeah, for some reason, I see a lot of similarities from people in Bangladesh with the Horn of Africa. I may be wrong. I think maybe they do share the same ancestry. To me, some of them look like really, really similar to one another. Sometimes, no, I may be wrong, but there's a lot of similarity between people from that part and some tribes in the Horn of Africa, not all, but some people. Yeah, and again, you've got the Philippines, 109 million people, uh, and no one is talking about overpopulation in Philippines. You've got Pakistan, 200 million people, poverty. No one is talking about overpopulation in Pakistan. This the rundown, and then we actually did this little fun activities. Let's try to do it again. The true what's the thing? The true size cup. Let me get it up. Okay, let's just share it again so that if okay, and let's share that share screen and okay, yeah. So we did this little interactive activities on the true size tell us how African countries are actually massive than what they are projected on the map. So we took, for example, Nigeria, and this Nigeria just because it's closer to the equator, is smaller. But if you take it towards to the North Pole, you see how Nigeria becomes like actually big. So that's the actual size of Nigeria if you want to put it on the towards the North Pole. So Nigeria is a country, it's really big. So let's clear that again. So let's take we took Greenland, that is closer to the size of the African continent on looking at from looking at the map. But if you take Greenland and you bring it closer to the equator, you're gonna see how Greenland is actually small. It's like really small. You know, it's not that big, but looking at Greenland from the map, it's like massive. And again, so let's clear this. Let's take let's take uh, let's take Germany. Let's take Germany, and yeah, that's the size of Germany. It's close to the pole, not really on the poles, but let's bring it to the equator. Yeah, Germany can barely fit inside Nigeria, but looking at Germany from the map, really big. So we did that little exercise over there, and so let's go back to a slide, and we talk about the mortality rate. We talk about how we are dying more than we are having birth, so we're actually declining. We are the minority. All this projection, it's not really factual. They're just complaining because they're feeding us. They don't want to feed people who are getting more babies. So the solution is for us to feed ourselves and don't actually depend on the West. And we talk about the question, yeah. So we're talking about this complaint is because the feeders, we don't hear them complain about the Asian countries because the Asian countries are running their thing. But African countries, we talk about helping us, food aids and things like that. And yeah, we watched a YouTube thing about watch about. Well, I'm Germany. I don't really think Nigeria is overpopulated. It's just population density. Maybe some people are crowded on some areas. They're not crowded in some other areas. Like Nigeria is not overpopulated. It's just redistribution of people, and so that is what's happening. So we watched this video, and we talk about how European actually celebrate huge families. They have big families that they celebrate, but when it comes to Africa, it's a problem. We talk about this family in the UK. They've got 20 children, and they've been paraded all over the TV. And people like happy for them. They do celebrate big families, and there's another one in America. 19 children. They've been celebrated. People talking good about them, and yeah, and we did this interactive and live demonstration on this powerful AI, ChatGPT, and actually created a song for the Pan African Alliance. We use it to write some emails and things like that. And yeah, overpopulation is a myth. Actually, thank you, but it's just a myth. It's a myth. It is a myth. It is. It's just a way to control. And that is it. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned something today. Emma, what was it? So say try Somalia. Let's see Somalia on this. Yeah, Somalia is on the equator, so Somalia should be actually be really really big. This is Somalia. Okay. Yeah, Somalia is right there on the equator. So taking Somalia to the pole, wow. Yeah. So Somalia is almost bigger than UK, Ireland, and Norway and Denmark combined. So even if you take it further, it even gets bigger. Yeah. So if you want to put Somalia over there, it's actually really, really big. So bringing it to the equator is going to be really small. So if Somalia was closer to this part, it's actually smaller than what it is. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, so we did that, and that was cool. So ladies and gentlemen, you can see. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so this Somalia. So yeah, so taking Somalia towards the pole, you see how Somalia increases in size. It's actually bigger. Yeah, so they've separated Somalia from Somaliland on this map, so that's why it's just this piece of Somalia. See, it's actually really, really big. When it is quite big. If we had to put its actual size in the North Pole. Yeah, so yeah, so let's yeah, I don't know to put Somaliland over there. It's taking Somaliland towards the North Pole. That's how it's like bigger than Germany. Yeah, the actual size. So yeah, so that was it, and yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything to add to the conversation, but if you don't have, and that's all right. So what you think? If you think we are overpopulated, we are underpopulated. If actually you think we are going to get to 4 billion, if you think we are going to get less than 4 billion, or what is your prediction, or anything you've seen on this stream, you've learned something. And if you've not subscribed, do subscribe and share Pan African Alliance, because we are going to actually going to grow. We're going to grow with the right audience. Serenity, calm. We come over here. We speak as Africans, try to solve the problems of Africa. We get into conversation that actually bring us together. We have one greater enemy, and they're all of us, and we should realize that and see how we can fight. Yeah. So yeah, we actually need 10 billion. We actually need 10 billion. We actually need 10 billion. And to have 10 billion, we need to feed ourselves. We need to feed ourselves. To get 10 billion, we need Pan African Alliance. We need politicians that's actually going to protect our country, and we're going to protect Africa. All these baseless ethnic conflicts, all this poverty and things like that, we don't need them. We don't need them. And this is not just a coincidence. There's actually a machine that is promoting all those things, because the lesser we are, the better. We all saw that European, despite the war that they had in their countries, they had the First World War and the Second World War, but their population is still increased. Germany is bigger than most African country. We didn't have no war. So what's the myth about African overpopulation? That's just a lie. Japan, they had the atomic bomb drop on two of their main cities, but Japan has got so many population more than most African country. What is happening? So we're talking about this myth of African country overpopulation growing rate. I don't see that. I just see we are stagnant, and we are the minority. We're the minority. And even we talk about Africa, we're so diverse. We've got so many different kind of people in Africa, but we put all that as Africa. But when you talk about Western Europe, kind of people, yeah. Yeah, of course, children are dying of diseases and food shortages. All this is due to the politicians we have. Okay, they have no clue of what we're doing. Yeah. So thank you for being here. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Uh, I don't think Nigeria is overpopulated. I don't think Nigeria is overpopulated, but the rest of Africa is not. I do think Nigeria is overpopulated. Yeah, as I said, Nigeria is not overpopulated. It's just redistribution of people. People are more. There's so many people in some big cities like Lagos, I don't know, Abuja, Port Harcourt. You've got so many people there. The north of Nigeria is scanty. No one lives there. There's a vast land that no one lives there. And if you go some other sides where there's war, like the towards the Bakassi side, people are not there. So people, it's just distribution of people. That's the problem with Nigeria. Yeah, thank you, Howard Taco. So I don't know who's that. I think that should be only me. I know she says she's not only me. I don't know. And yeah, Tanky Boat says, I think when I said Bangladeshi and some people in the north of Africa, the Horn of Africa, share some common ancestry. I think that's when he said they share nothing. And yeah, and so Tankybot said this is recycling. Other people work and oh it's recycling other people's work and other AIs can detect that is okay, I get what you mean by now. Yeah, it's actually but yeah, so that is a problem. Yeah, people be talking about this plagiarism. How can you fight that with AI? That it's a problem. And yeah, so I think how what Taco was really really impressed about the chat GPT. And yeah, so the line is open. If you have anything, something to say, something you disagree, or any proposals, things like that, you can hop up. Maybe we can last again for another 10 minutes. And yeah, so I'm none of them. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, great show, Judah. Yeah, so do you have something to add? You have something to add, and let me post. The line is open, guys. So if no one is coming, then we're gonna end the show shortly. So I give you guys time to do what you're doing. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try my best to do most live most of this time. I'm actually preparing for my AWS DevOps certification. If you know what that is the devs up, and it's taking me so much time, and I'm gonna do it. I had it before. No, I had the associate one. It got expired, so I don't want to do it again. I'm going to upload. I'm gonna upgrade. So it's Amazon Web Service DevOps Specialist. So I'll be doing that. Yeah, forehead warrior. I think you're coming late, and I don't know if you've been watching up the stream. We've shared so much information here, proving how Africa we are dying population. We are not increasing. It's just a myth, and why these people keep saying these things because they just want us to remain stagnant. Why they feed us, so and things like that. So yeah, so I'll just wait for a little while. If anyone can give one or two contribution, if not, then we're gonna end the stream. Yeah, so let's see what's going on. And yeah. So yeah, I couldn't wait for Kaiser's Dusty show. We have time frame that we wait for. So Dusty show, I do my own show, and I can't wait. We don't want to bring Dusty argument on this show. There's no yeah. We talk about and things that's gonna make the continent move forward, not things that's gonna divide people based on YouTube view and things like that. I think we are I'm bigger than all that things. So, but some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy the argument and things like that. It's entertainment. Entertainment has got its own place. You can take that out of YouTube, but not everyone can do entertainment. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave you guys. I hope you learned something. Go and try Chat GP. Let me put the website for Chat GPT. Let's see. Uh, that's it. Okay. Let's just give me one moment. So for those of you who want to try that AI, it's really really powerful. Yeah, you're late for the show. Go back and watch the show. We actually late. You can go and try chat open AI. It's the chat things like that and things like that. Yeah. So let me try one more thing if I can actually share the other AI. Um, let's see if I can actually share my. Hmm, okay. Okay. And the bad thing now is that I can't see. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you see this? Can you see this? Can you see this screen? Can you see this? I want to show you some other powerful AI, so you can use it to blow your mind. I don't know. So I'm sharing my screen. So because of that, I can't see you guys. So I'm just gonna pop back into the chat and see if you can see me. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. You can see me. Okay. So this is an AI that is called Mid Journey. It's to image generator. Okay, it's really powerful. So for those of you who came later, we use the chat AI, the chat GPT to create a little story about a royal ant, and it was so interesting. And let's say we want to actually create images of that warrior. So our main character, let's say we want to create a children book. We've written the story, we've used chat AI, chat GPT to create a story, and we need to create the images. We're not artists, we can draw, we don't have money to pay anyone to do the graphics for us. This where Mid Journey comes into place. So I'm gonna make a demonstration. You're gonna see how powerful that is. So let's say we're gonna create our little warrior ant. Okay, we know in the mind how we want this little warrior ants to be like. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna come here and say I'm gonna give it a prompt. I'm gonna say imagine. So imagine what? Let's say imagine a warrior ant. Hmm. Let's say imagine a warrior ant with a big sword and heavy armor. Let's just say something like this. Okay, so that's what we want to create. We want to create a little ant with the warrior ant. So we just give it. Ah, God, my trial prayers, my trial. Mm. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, I can't do this because my trial period is done. So let me just show you something what people do over here. So let's get into this room. Okay, this is actually what they do in Mid Journey. It's a powerful AI. I just hope let it pop up. Just give it some minute. I don't know. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, everything you see here is not art. It's just people giving some commands, and the AI is generating these pictures out of this command. It's really powerful. So this guy here, no one drew this. It's just an artificial intelligence that created this. So if you can see the prompt, that's the prompt that they use to create this thing. 19. 90s Italian Nike tennis player, blah 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 blah, blonde hair, and the AI uses what you do to create this. It's really powerful, and this one, they say neon bed. The AI created the neon bed. It's just so powerful. And this one, they say woman and shape. Sometimes it can work, and sometimes it would not work, and that's what the AI produce. And this one, they say Stephen Stone, but in a Stephen Stone start art. I don't know what's that. Sorry, someone you know. And this is one Pokemon. So this one, you give a picture and you can use it to add Pokemon, and it's just so powerful. Colorful donkey in a suit during interview. So this is what OpenAI does. Unfortunately, my trial period is done. I I can't generate any ads for you, but if you have the time, you can go look for it. It's called Mid Journey. So that's the name here. It's the bot Mid Journey. It's really powerful. So you can actually use it to generate ads just by giving it prompt, just like that. So all this stuff, no one is actually creating them. They just tell you what you want the picture to be like, and it's going to create it for you. And all these things are actually really, really powerful. This one is black cat with yellow eye sleeping with Alice in Wonderland. So you give that prompt. This is what the AI created for you. And if you don't like it, you can regenerate it and give another prompt. And this is the cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is I think it's a game, and this is a fat medieval lord looking at a destroyed city from a hill. The AI does that for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is really, really powerful. And unfortunately, I didn't know I exhausted all my free trial because I've been generating so many pictures and things like that. And yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoyed the show. For those of you who've been coming late, unfortunately, we have to close and wait for another 2 minutes. If you don't have anything to say, I'm gonna close. And yeah, yeah, we are the minority. We are the minority, and we're not, we're not going ahead. We're not actually producing more children. We're actually dying. Europe is getting more and more people, and we are stagnant, and that's the reason for that. So yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll come to the end of the show. And next week I'm gonna have an interview with one guy. We're gonna talk about some things I don't really actually talk about, a little bit of religion and things like that, and ideology. And I wish you to call in. So I'll give again my shout out. You know, sorry. Yeah, I give again shout out to these people, and thanks very much for those of you who have been here on time. We keep to time, and that's how we do it. We don't wait for people; people wait for us. So let's thank you for listening, and I wish you a happy, I don't know, happy day, and I hope all is well with you. Till the next time, it's been Kifaro. Bye.